Okay, so we'll just record.
I see the little record sign.
Okay,
right
we're
there.
recording. Yeah. So we'll just introduce ourselves real quick. My name's Megan, the founder and facilitator of the Morphic Field, and I'm here with, go ahead and say who you are.
I'm Hisa Izumi with Talisman's Arts.
Awesome. And I'm gonna probably should switch to so you both can see us, okay, or you can see both of us. So we're talking about money and abundance, and we have a workshop scheduled in a couple weeks, your future self, money and abundance. And so what we were just talking before we hit the record button is how as soon as we set up a workshop, we kind of tap into the inquiry of what that workshop's about. So money and abundance, we've been and just like the founder of the constellation work, Bert Hellinger, he's a philosopher, and so a lot of this work is revolved around the inquiry, the philosophy of asking questions and noticing what you're noticing and what does that mean. And so Hisa and I we've been listening to other people's work around money and abundance, and really just I've been allowing the universe to just send me things. I swear to God, I had a couple podcasts on money and abundance that I listened to, and they were brilliant and gave me so much insight. Went to find them again and couldn't find them. I just think those were gifts from the universe. And so Hisa, you tell me about it. You read a book or are reading a book?
Yes, I read a book. I know her last name's Northrup. She's the daughter of Christina Northrup, and she wrote a book called Money, a Love Story. And it has a lot of questions. It gives you questions about what your approach to money is, your hidden fears, etc., etc.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing I took away from it was to have respect for money. And it could be simply rearranging your messy wallet and making sure that the bills are nicely stacked in a respectful way inside your wallet and your credit cards. And also just the courage to have clarity on and not being afraid or ashamed to look at the exact situation of your money.
And we saw that in the constellation before, how once we saw that we were what age we were actually relating to money, we were actually able to mature that conversation to our current ages and relate to money with power, standing in our strength in the present moment, as opposed to the 12-year-old that was operating the money story before. And so and lately I was looking at about what abundance means for me, and man, I've had so many shifts lately, and what it is that I'm seeking when I'm seeking money through work, or when I'm wanting abundance. What does that mean to me? And so again, the message of I want freedom, I want adventure, I want experience. I don't necessarily want certain things. I don't necessarily want a certain house. It's like things have been more clear to me as far as looking through the context of money and abundance. And then
so you want the essence of things, not symbols, like an expensive house or expensive clothes or something like that.
Well, we want the experience of it, right? So yeah, I do want the experience of putting nice diamond earrings in my ears. Like I do want that experience. Like I've wanted that for a while, and I haven't bought them, but that's coming. I know that those earrings are coming. I want that experience, but it's like, do I want the experience of maintaining a house right now? No, because you want to know what? I want to travel. That's the experience.
Right, exactly.
But to me, that's abundance. To me, that's like the idea of money, or like having that exchange of money allows me to do all those things. So I think what we're gonna look at today, and Hisa and I, we've not discussed what we're doing here today, but we're gonna do a tabletop constellation in relation to money and abundance. And I think, and let me just feel into this, because what I heard today was we at some points in our life, we make a sort of a contract with ourselves in regards to money. So for example, I saw how I was actually talking to Chris yesterday, and I saw, and the story came out of my mouth where, and I couldn't believe the words that came out of my mouth. I said, so my sister, when I was in high school, she is 8 years older than me. She had a thing where she would come back and take my clothes, and I thought I was like paranoid. I'm like, why are my clothes are missing? And I'm like, why is this person in her late 20s like coming back and taking it? This doesn't make any sense. And then my mom didn't really do anything about it. And then I like put a lock on my door, and then like my clothes kept missing. And I'm like, she found the key that my mom had and unlocked the door. And I'm like paranoid, but I'm like, but I know my stuff's missing. So long story short, I made this decision that I stopped buying clothes. And you know what I did? I went to the thrift store, and I was like, she's not going to want that. So I actually changed.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was telling Chris this story last night, and I was like, yeah, because I used to not get along with my sister. We get along fine now, but I was like telling the story about why. And then I went to this, and I actually had the words come out of my mouth. Like, well, that's why I stopped. So it's like those decisions we make, or those contracts we make, or those, it's actually, we make them repeatedly, and I think when we get in touch with them in a new way, and by getting in touch with them in the field, we can see how that's been a pattern in our life, and how it comes out in different ways still today, how that's still alive. So so I'm thinking, do you want to how about we do a tabletop constellation, and maybe I guide you through that, and we'll just kind of take it piece by piece. But we'll look at decisions that we've made around money, and we're just going to let the field inform, and maybe the morphic field, it could go a different direction. We're just going to let it happen. So I'm gonna switch my camera into the tabletop version. So give me just a moment as I do that, and then I'm gonna move. Everyone's gonna ignore the big shadow that I have in my camera. And all right, so let's we're gonna start with we'll start with Hisa now. Okay, so Hisa, we're gonna do this exercise for Hisa. And Hisa, please feel free, and just like everyone at home can also follow along during this tabletop constellation, you can follow along in the shoes of Hisa, or you can actually follow along and do this exercise yourself too. So meaning you can actually write your name down, and we're going to write Hisa now. So there's no time or space in the field, but we can actually intention what time and space we put in the field. So we're actually going to put in, because we do future self work, we're going to do Hisa now. Again, that arrow is the direction in which Hisa is facing, and you'll be able to understand that further as we go along. So I'm just gonna put you straight forward down here, okay? We're just gonna start you here, and then let's go ahead and write on a piece of paper. How about decision made about money? Is
decision, that? Yeah.
Let's write a decision
made.
Hisa made, or you can put I made about money. And again, we don't know exactly what's going to show up. We're going to let the field inform. And Hisa, go ahead, and I want you to go ahead and tell me where to place this.
I would say that it's sort of blocking my abundance. So I would say I would like put it almost like 90 degrees and like covering half of Hisa now.
Like this?
Yeah, but a little bit further further up. Yeah, yeah, like
Like
that.
right here. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go ahead and let's put your hand on HISA now, and we're just gonna feel into the energy of HISA now. And when I say feel into the energy of HISA now, it's how does this feel to be in the shoes of HISA, and then also how is it feeling in relation to having this decision, a decision HISA made about money right in front of her. So as we put our hand on HISA now, HISA, what I want to ask you, what are you feeling?
Well, I'm feeling really optimistic about this block. Now that I'm aware of this block, that it's going to get removed.
Okay.
So I feel like it's almost like he's just going to karate chop this decision away.
I do feel the sensation of wanting to turn this around and face it. Like, I'm ready to handle this. Like there's this confidence. So that's really, and maybe because you've been doing a lot of work lately on this issue, and again, we did a constellation, that was a powerful constellation we did a week and a half ago, where we basically began to look at our money conversation where we hadn't looked at before, because we were chilled the conversation. How old were you acting at the?
I was about 14.
Okay, so that was
I felt like a lot of my money issues came around when I was 14.
Okay, so that, and so since then, and I know, again, you and I did a constellation on it, and there's been a shift for you possibly. So like there's this confidence and willingness to look at it now. Okay.
Yes,
Okay, so let's go ahead and let's place your hand on a decision HISA made about money. Let's see what we're. And HISA, please go ahead and go first.
So could I tell you what the decision was? Because I'm pretty clear about it in my mind, or should I?
Sure, please.
That somehow love and money, if you had money, you didn't have love. And if you had love, you didn't have money. It's sort of like that poor little rich girl type of feeling.
Yeah.
That I rather have love than money, because money doesn't bring love. Or money is a substitute for love. Wow. Now it's changing. I'd rather have money than love. Or it fluctuates. I'd rather have love than money, or I'd rather have money than love. So
it's kind of interesting because what I've heard from you is sometimes you do go back and forth, and there's this part of you that has an allegiance to the love, to that being true, and then there's the part of you that has the allegiance to the other side. So there's like this pull back and forth. Right.
That there is some weird belief that money and love don't go together.
So we're gonna put in here money, and let's just put in here money and love. And you know what? Okay, yeah.
And you know what? Money and love doesn't, I just even feel like an aversion to putting money and love in the same square.
Well, did you just see my hesitation there too? So let's just see what we come up with.
It's like, that is so like, I'm putting it at the same place you are.
Okay, about right here.
And it's like, what he said now is saying, this does not compute.
So he's now saying that, okay.
This is, like, it feels like the computer in my brain, the robot computer in my brain is saying, this does not compute.
It actually almost hurts a little bit. It doesn't add up. It's like completely.
Yeah, it hurts. It actually hurts.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. So let's just put our hand on a money and love and see what what it's saying here, or what the message is, what we're receiving. So we're getting information. We're basically just channeling information, and we're noticing what we're noticing, the thoughts, the feelings, proclivities. There may be messages or phrases. There may be something that comes up as a memory. You're also when you're feeling into this, what's representing money and love. How does money and love feel about a decision Hisa made about money? How does money and love feel towards Hisa now? You're also looking at, so right now we have money and love looking towards the decision Hisa made, and looking also somewhat at Hisa now. So does money and love want to turn away? Does it want to stay? And so we're also looking for what movements these positions want to have. So Hisa, go ahead and tell me what money and love is, what information you're getting from money and love.
It's really hard for money and love to be even in the field, because there's almost a feeling like Hisa wants to tear the two words apart.
I'm getting the feeling that it wants to back up, like it is afraid of you, like it's not wanted here, and like there's this violence that it feels like you're being violent towards it, and it wants to back up.
I feel like go away.
Mm-hmm. So we're just gonna say in the field, let's put our hand on you now, on Hisa now, and just say into the field, I feel violent towards money and love.
I feel violent towards money and love.
And say into the field, I've felt that money and love don't belong together.
I totally feel that money and love don't belong together.
It actually hurts me when money and love are together.
It actually makes me feel nauseous when money and love are together.
And that's how I've operated.
That's how I operated.
Just say no wonder.
No wonder?
No, just say no wonder.
No wonder.
Mm-hmm.
No wonder I'm alone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no wonder. So we're just gonna let the movement happen. So the field is always going towards healing.
Mm-hmm.
The field's always wanting to go towards balance, and sometimes when we say what the truth, and sometimes when we say what hasn't been said, when we acknowledge what's there that's been hidden, it actually causes movement and healing. So we're going to allow that to happen. It's at a soul slow movement speed. And I do feel some movement. I feel like this wants to back up a little bit here. Like give a little bit of space. I'm going to put my hand on money and love, and you can do the same and see how that landed. So when we speak words in the field, so like Hisa now just did, it will land and cause movement from the other parts of the field. So we're just going to check in to see how money and love received that.
Money and love feels compassion.
Yeah. It no longer feels like it wants to move back. I actually feel love coming from it.
Yeah, I feel like it's feeling like, oh, poor thing.
I get the sensation of it wanting to embrace almost, or touch.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a sense of touch now.
But the thing is, when Hisa feels that, she says, don't touch me.
Mm-hmm. So you're back on Hisa now. Let's go back on Hisa now.
It's sort of like she's really feels, oh gosh, she really feels like I had a friend named Rosemary when I was growing up, and she has really issues about money and being touched, and it was like, don't ever touch me.
Mm. Can you say to money and love, say, you've hurt me before?
Oh God, I'm getting emotional. You hurt me before.
And I don't know if I fully trust you.
And I, the only way I could exist was by separating you.
Okay, we're going to see how that lands. And so sometimes as a facilitator, I will hear words, and those words are to speak the truth. And sometimes, and I encourage my clients, if the words need to be modified slightly so that it is the absolute truth for them, or that that's the words that they can say. Sometimes they're not ready to say the words that are the words that the healing sentences. So he says words. We're gonna see what they were as I'm talking. They're landing. We're gonna check in now.
Could I say one more thing?
Absolutely.
In order to keep my sanity, I had to separate you both.
So say that again. You're saying this to money and love. Mm-hmm.
In order to keep my own sanity, I had to separate you both.
Okay, so we're gonna let that land and see where. So you feel lighter.
Yeah, I feel like I said said what was the truth for me.
Okay, so let's go back on money and love. So money and love actually feel more grounded
and calm. Yeah.
Yeah. So as opposed to being this like embracey, lovey, they're actually feeling grounded and not as eager. Maybe that was like overly eager. So sometimes, let me just explain this. So sometimes money and love or emotions and objects can actually morph into a person's energy. Then maybe it can morph back into something else. So perhaps that was morphing into when it was feeling the emotion and was morphing into something, but it actually went back into more grounded. And we don't have to know everything at every moment that happens in the field and how the energy is morphing. The whole point is to go towards balance and harmony. And yes. Okay. So let's go back to Kisa now.
Mm-hmm.
And Kisa, let me ask you, because again, you're gonna feel and hear different different things in the field. So I want you to go first. Go ahead and what are you hearing and feeling?
I'm feeling calmer.
Mm-hmm.
And although money and love is kind of still a feeling of repulsion.
For you? Mm-hmm.
No, from me.
From you. For you, yeah, okay.
And from me, not, I feel repulsed
towards
them.
Yeah.
But there's there's some curiosity.
Okay.
There's some curiosity, and there's some willingness to look at the possibility that love and money go together.
Mm-hmm. And
I was thinking of Oprah.
Okay. So say into the field.
Mm-hmm.
I can begin to see possibility in you now.
I can begin to see some possibility in you now.
Okay. Can you actually say, so sometimes can you actually say, I can begin to see possibility in you now? And that there's a reason why I want you to say that, but go ahead and.
Gosh, there's a lot of resistance towards
I know,
that.
and that's.
Okay, I can begin to see. Oh gosh, I can't.
So, and here's
it's almost like an NLP kind of exercise.
Well, here's the thing is, and here's why I honor you to use your own words, but there's a reason why I'm using certain.
I know that I can begin to see the possibility of you now.
Okay, so just let that be.
That's yeah.
Okay. So you get why those words are important, right?
Yeah, and if I go further, it's more significant, but it's almost hard for me to say that.
Okay. Okay. And that's where I am right now.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Can you say that?
I can
And that's where I
begin
am. Just
to see the possibility of money and love together. Oh my God. That was hard for me to say.
mhm. That was beautiful. Okay. So let's so when you said that, it almost felt like you had to get rid of, there was a little bit of a superiority complex there. And it
Mm-hmm.
felt like you actually came down to the correct size. So, and your heart felt like it opened up. And it feels very vulnerable for you right now. And your strength is your strength feels like it's coming out of that vulnerability. And that feels very beautiful. So that was really,
Thank you. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I've been feeling this for a little while. I kind of want to, this feels like it wants to kind of move over and kind of be over here. Are you okay with that?
Okay. Yeah.
Are you
So
okay
it's
with that?
making like a triangle in the
Yeah.
middle.
Uh-huh. Yeah. It's almost like it's taking you're standing your, or I'm not standing your ground, you're um finding your place is what are the words. Okay.
Mhm.
So can you say I'm finding my place?
I am finding my place.
Mm-hmm. So let's is there anything here, let me ask you, is there anything else when you have your hand on HISA now, so it's you in the current moment, is there anything else that's coming up for you right now?
Right now, it's kind of interesting. I feel like this whole situation is pretty much balanced.
Mm-hmm.
Where like there's a sort of symmetry to the triangle in the middle and how these are all placed.
Yeah.
For me, it's more like a real nice triangle shape. So the money and love comes a little bit more towards HISA, and it makes sort of a triangle.
And I just want to pull out something real quick. And as you said that, it really brought it to my attention. Hopefully you can still hear me.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at our fabulous, I mean, look at the,
Oh my God, there's a triangle.
right?
Yeah.
So,
That one is like a triangle. My God.
yeah. So it's kind of interesting. So just have that in your mind as part of the resolution, the solution here. So I think it's appropriate. This was a little mini constellation. I think it's appropriate to leave it here. Are you okay with that?
Okay, I'm totally okay with it here.
Okay.
And it's just amazing that we didn't have to really dig deep in what the decisions were or my personal life, but this just totally affected me.
Yeah.
So it's just amazing how you put money and love together in one card, and that just totally affected me in my psyche somehow. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for doing that. That was yeah. Again, you don't have to have a huge long constellation to do deep work. And I think, and I almost I don't want to talk about it too much because I think there's going to be some movement here for you.
Yeah.
And you need some time to integrate it. So just again, you got to stay out of your head. I'm telling everyone this: stay out of your head, and let it embody, embody the work, the constellation work, and the movement. And it's still, I do still feel like it's moving. We left it in a good place. So what else I want to say about that? So if anyone's working at home and doing this constellation for themselves, wherever you are with it, just allow the movement to unfold. And if you have further questions, you can contact me at themorphicfield.com, and I'll leave my information in the little description part, so you can email us there. All right, Hisa, I'm gonna end this recording, and anything else you want to say?
No, but thank you so much. And I think this is a really big beginning for something to shift in my life.
Wonderful. Yeah. And we're going to have the workshop, depending on when people are listening to this, we'll have continuous workshops. So we're going to have the Future Self Money and Abundance workshop coming up here soon. And so check out themorphicfield.com for whatever workshops coming up soon for you. Okay. Bye.
Bye.